swords and stones in the dead of night, rolling dice under flickering light. Gamers' hearts pounding in their chest, chasing glory, never letting it rest. Roll the dice, fight the beast, legends born and released. Raise your blades, feel the fire, dreams of heroes climbing higher. Dungeon deep, cold and dark, monsters lurking, leave their mark. Gamers whisper plans in the air, bravery's the answer to despair. Roll the dice, fight the beast, legends born and released. Raise your blades, feel the fire, dreams of heroes climbing higher. Monsters lurking, leave their mark. Gamers whisper plans in the air, bravery's the answer to despair. Roll the dice, fight the beast, legends born and released. Raise your blades, feel the fire, dreams of heroes climbing higher. On the table, stories unfold, courage found in the brave and bold. Fate turns with the roll of a hand, standing tall in a fantasy land. Roll the dice, fight the beast, legends born in the least. Raise your blades, feel the fire, dreams of heroes climbing higher.
Good morning, everyone. Tim here from Swords and Stones in the wonderful sunny day village of Enderby, British Columbia, Canada. It is Saturday, February 21st at about 9:30 in the morning, and we are on our way to start a new solo campaign. Get some more experience playtesting this little simple system of mine that I came up with called Swords and Stones. And we've got 3 adventurers here. They are been tasked to investigate why this little holiday area, holiday village, mini village, kind of like an Airbnb set up for travelers that want to come from the Citadel to explore the a little bit of wilderness and get some fresh air, maybe do some hunting and fishing. But lately, people have not been coming back. So they have been tasked by the Citadel lords to come and check out what is going on, why people are not coming back, and trying to figure out what it is that's causing all the issues. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and introduce our characters. We have Rindbola, Tanir Valine, and Kandar Mohin. And yes, I made those names up myself. Yay, I'm very proud. So these 3 have been tasked to investigate this area as to why travelers and holidayers are not coming back from this little vacation spot to the Citadel, and investigate why these rumors of infestation or possible possession of the area, or something sinister or demonic, or possibly a group has invaded and taken over, and maybe these people are gone hostage. So to start with, we will just give you a little bit of background on what I do here for running my wonderful little sessions. I use Owlbear Rodeo. One, because it's very simple to use, and free if you prefer. It's very inexpensive monthly, but it's free as well. You can run, have your own sessions set up, different adventures and different campaigns. You can share these screens. You can invite. You just click on this up here, and you click this little icon here to invite players. You send that link to your players if you're playing online, and they can join in and manipulate their characters, and you guys can chat and have a good time playing your game. All right, so I'm just going to leave the dice. As you notice, they have a dice rolling tray, and you have a selection of dice. I'm going to change the dice color so that it's visible and I can see it. There we go. All right, so the three pairs here, we're going to first decide what their stats are, roll their characters up. So we'll go up to this tab up here now. Up on the tabs here, I have the game guide, our Swords and Stones, and it is hyperlinked in this version, so we can jump to character creation. And obviously, in the guide here, it tells you what to do, what the dice are for, and etc. Like what the hit points are, or what your stats are, what they kind of cover. And then we have random tables. So you can, if you want to go through and you want to fill out a full character sheet, then you can definitely do that. Just give me 1 second here. All right, we're back. Sorry, just had to make sure I had our full character sheet open here so you can have a quick look at it. So I have this set up as fillable PDFs so that players can use them online. So we have a choice here for our characters. We can fill out the full character sheet here where you can get into a little more description on the random tables for their traits. But everything is more or less on the tracker that you need during gameplay. So you have your name, you have your armor type, whether or not you have a shield or a helmet, and those all go into play with your armor class right here. So with this sheet here, obviously we can roll our stats, and then we can build our armor class and that sort of thing for each character. So what we need on the tracker are just the armor class, hit points, experience points, the armor type, and your shield and helmet. And then if you have whatever weapons you have, and then as you go along through the game and you accumulate spell stones, you can load them in here. You accumulate heal stones, you put the quantity in here, ambite, the number of nuggets in there. Rations would be, we start at 14 rations, and that's food and water, so that's 2 weeks. Torches, give you 5 torches. Experience points, we start at 1,000. And each time you go up 1,000 experience points, you go up a level. We're going to start our characters at level 3. So we're going to go 3, and DC of 11, hit points of 22, experience points, we're level 3, so we're at 3,000 experience points. We have 5 torches, 14 rations, and that's it for that. So we'll start with the first guy, which is Rindbola. And we'll put his name in here. Rindbola. Armor is padded. Yes, you have the shield, so that's +1. Tab. And helmet is no, so no. Weapons, we have a sword, and I think we'll give him a dagger as well. And what else? Let's say battle hammer. Battle hammer. So when we're looking those up, we go into here, and we can scroll down, and we can get to the weapons right here, where it shows us that a dagger is plus 1 to 4, +2 if you throw it. Sword is 1 to 8. The battle hammer is 1 to 8, and the battle hammer you get a +1 if you throw it as well. So that's pretty cool. But needless to say, so that's it for Rind. We just have to get his armor class. So let's go here to Owlbear, yeah, and we'll roll a d6, and let's see what we get. He gets a 2. So let's fill these in as far as the stats here are concerned, because we'll need those for task difficulty challenges, combat difficulty challenges, so TDC and the CDC. As well, we have gear slots here to track things that they're finding. And if they have anything else special, we can write it down there. So let's roll 66 to, whoops, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And roll. Okay, what do we get? Not a heck of a lot, so Rind is not all that fantastically special skill-wise. So now we can decide where we want to put these. He's a fighter, obviously, so we're going to put 4 in his strength and 4 in his constitution. Because I think that, for me, when I'm playing, those are, for fighters, as far as I'm concerned, the two, not charisma, sorry, the two most important. Now, for every character, constitution is important because you're going to add on what's going on down here, okay? So, this is, I'm going to type in Rin's name here, Rind Bola. This would be me, solo, and this would be Rind Bola. Okay. Okay, so now we had some 3s. We had 2 3s and 2 1s. So that made it quite easy to get 3 pairs. Okay. So let's go here. Let's go 3 for intelligence. Because intelligence plays in for commanding spellstones. 3 for dexterity. Obviously, for being a fighter, you want that. Wisdom is a 1, and charisma is a 1. So, wisdom for using heal stones, not a great modifier. And again, these are modifiers. These are not like in the OG version of this game where you had to roll 3d6 for each stat. You'd get upwards of 18 points, and then you had to look on another table to find out what your modifier is. In this system, I just roll modifiers. It just makes it quick and easy. All right, so armor type was padded, which is a 0 on the modifier list. If we go into our game here, we find it. So here we go, padded, no modifier, banded, no modifier. Okay. All right, and then we had a shield, yes. A helmet, no. So that gives us an armor class of 5. And again, this is a modifier because when we're in combat, the way combat works in Swords and Stones is that if I roll advantage, if I get D for defense, so basically numbers 4 to 6, that means that the monster is attacking me and I have to roll a d20 to defend myself. So we roll 2 d20s at the same time, one for the attacker, one for the defender. So if I'm on the defense at level 3, my DC at level 3 is 11, so I need an 11 or better. So let's say I roll a 6. Okay, so then I'm on the defense, I'm defending myself, so I rolled a 6. I add my armor class to that, makes it 11, so I've defended myself. I've either deflected the blow or I've completely nulled the attack itself. So at the same time, you're also rolling the attack. So a monster at level 3 needs a 13. So let's say the monster rolls 13, just gets it. They go ahead and roll damage, and at level 3 it's just 1d6. So they roll the d6, they get a 4. Now, because I successfully defended myself, we remove 1 of those damage points. So it's actually only 3 coming off my hit points, which means that you still got attacked, you still got hurt slightly, but not as bad. So you partially defended yourself. Now, had that person rolled, or had that monster roll a 1, then that would be 0 hit points removed. It would just be successful defense. All right. So that's, now we have hit points and skill level, weapons, experience points. We've got all that on our tracker here. Okay, so armor class is 5. And that's pretty much it. Like, this is what we'll be using most of the time during gameplay. Over here, we would come here if we want to check our stats to find out whether or not we're successful at doing a task or in combat. So something that I could easily add to this tracking sheet if I wanted to, but then that means the game host is tracking everything, and there's no point in the characters or the players having a character sheet. Okay, so also we would use this to mark any items down that we find along the way for our backpack. Okay, so that is Rind. That is Rind. Okay, and now we're going to open another one for our next character. So just let me do that. There we go. And our next character is Tenir Valine. Okay, so we'll come over to this one. We go Tenir Valine. This is this solo. Oops. Typing skills are a little weak. And this is Tenir Valine. All right, so let's roll Tenir's stats. What do we got? What do we got? Not a bad spread. So because characters are classless in this game, you want to, when you're rolling your dice, you want to kind of think of, before you fill them into your sheet, you want to think of what skills you want to focus on. Do you want to just be a good fighter? Then you focus on strength and dexterity. Okay, and your constitution. Obviously, constitution is the number one thing because that applies to your armor class. So everybody should focus on that having to be one of your highest. If you want to be more kind of like a ranger character, where you still have a little bit of fighting skill, but you're more focused on your tracking skills and stuff like that, which is part of intelligence and like under investigation, wisdom, you have tracking and perception. So those skills, then you would put your higher stats in maybe both of those. So that's basically how it works. If you want to be a person that uses magic most of the time, so then you'd put your higher stat in intelligence because you roll on your intelligence versus your DC to identify and use spellstones. If you want to focus on being more of a healer, then you would put that in your wisdom for the same reason. You'd roll that on your DCA to use a heal stone to heal yourself or other party members. So for this one, we're going to lean more towards the higher stat being in their constitution. And we'll put the 4s in the strength and dexterity. And the 3s, I think, will go in intelligence and wisdom, and the 1 in charisma. Okay, so let's do that. So we got 4 here. And intelligence 3, wisdom 3, dexterity 4, constitution 6, and charisma 1. All right. Now, as far as armor is concerned, looks like they are wearing plate mail. So that's pretty impressive. So if we go back to our guide, plate mail gives you a +4 to your armor class. Now that's sincerely good. So we have a +4. So we'll go in here and we'll go plate. And that's a +4. So you add that to your constitution. That's an armor class of 10. This person is highly skilled at defending themselves. Shield modifier. Oh, hang on. We're going to add on our shield modifier. So I goofed there. So yes, we have a shield. So that's actually 11. So that's pretty darn good. So this person is a highly skilled, highly experienced in combat. No modifier for helmet. Now later on, if we find a helmet, we can add that, and then our armor class goes up again. So this one, they have a great armor class, so they're going to be the one probably out in the front taking point. Okay, so that's pretty much it for here, just like we did for Rent. That's pretty much all we need on our character sheets, if for solo anyways, because I'm using the PC tracker. So let's go into the PC tracker. And let's go down here to Tenir Valine. Okay, level 3, DC of 11, hit points of 22, armor class of 11, experience points of 3,000, torches 5, rations 14, armor plate +4, shield +1, tab, oops, helmet, new, weapons, we have sword again, dagger, if I could type, and what else should we give them? Let's have a look at their character. Sword and a dagger and a shield. They're all pretty much the same, especially wearing plate mail. Yeah, let's give them a battle hammer as well. What the heck? Battle hammer, there we go. Okay. So again, over time, what the damage is. Swords 1 to 8, daggers 1 to 4, battle hammers 1 to 8. So I think it's 1 to 8. Might be 1 to 10. But we can always look it up here. Battle hammer 1 to 8. Yeah, same as a sword. Okay, so that is Tanir. Well done. Over to Kandar. Kandar Mohin. Let's roll this person's stats. Let's open another character sheet. And SNS solo. Dab. And we got, make sure I spell it right. Kandar Mohin. Okay. Kandar Mohin. All right, and what did we get for rules? Ooh, not bad at all. So again, we got a 6. So I'm leaning that towards Constitution. We got a couple of 5s. I think I'm going to put that in Strength and Dexterity. Yeah, and the 2s everywhere else. That's pretty nice across the board. Okay, so let's go here. 6. And Charisma 2. Dexterity 5. Wisdom 2. Intelligence 2. And Strength 5. And let's see, what armor would he be wearing? Let's call it leather armor. Or is it padded? Similar. Yeah, it looks like it's the same as Rin. So let's go padded armor. Okay. Now he has a helmet though. Helmet and a shield. So he gets the +1 for both of those. That's awesome. Or they, I should say. Let's try and keep it copacetic. So here we go. Padded. No modifier. Shield, you get a +1. And helmet, you get a +1. So now, because of that, they get 6, 7, 8. So armor class of 8. So that's pretty decent. And there we go. So that's all we need for Kandar, and as well as Tanir and Rind. Okay. All right. So now let's go back to the tracker, and we'll fill in Kandar. Kandar Mohin. Oh, I can't spell today. Can't type, I should say. All right, armor is padded. So 0. Level 3. DC of 11. Hit points 22. Armor class 8. Experience 3,000. Torches 5. Rations 14. Shield +1. Helmet +1. Now, I think weapons-wise, we're going to be all fairly similar. I think I'm going to trade up Rin's though and give him a bow. Oops. Let's go back to Rind, and I'm going to, instead of the battle hammer, I'm going to give a bow and arrows. 12. Okay, so then as we use them, we'll just come in here and modify the number. Bow and arrows. Can I do that? Oops. Oh yeah, okay. So we'll give him a bow. So he has a ranged weapon. And then with this person here, Kandar, we're going to go sword, dagger. I like them all to have 3. So bow's got range weapon, battle hammer. They've got 3. Let's have a look and see. Sword, battle axe, spear. How about a mace? Let's do a spiked mace. This guy's got some pretty wicked tools. Okay, spike mace. Oops. Spiked mace. That does some decent damage. That one's like 1 to 10, I believe. Yeah. Alright, so their character sheets are set up. The tracker is set up. So the tracker is our quick reference. This is where we'll go 90% of the time, because the sheets, basically now the only thing we're going to use the sheet for is to modify their backpack, whatever they find or carry. And then at the end of a session, if in the tracker their hit points and whatever has been adjusted, we can put that in here if we want. But all right, okay, taking a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our stats rolled up on our characters. We've got our tracker filled out here. We've got our individual character sheets filled out in case we need to use those. We've got our game guide open. We can always link to gameplay. What I like to do is have this one open for stones, and specialty skills is up here. Now, because they're level 3, if they go up to level 4, they get to choose a specialty skill. So we can get into that later. But have this page open for the spell stones so that we can roll a d6 and figure out what stone they find. So as they're adventuring and they're doing searching and stuff like that, basically I roll a d6. On a 1, that means they find some spell stones, or they find stones of some sort. And then we roll on the table. If they could find spell stones, heal stones, or some sort of different magical stone. If they roll a 6, then it's gear. And then we go back to here, and we go down to dungeon dressings. And we go here. And not this page here, but this page here. So I have random tables for random gear, weapons, and armor. So we would roll a d6, and if they roll a 6 again, then it's a weapon they find. If they roll a 5, it's gear here, or 4 or 3. 2 is a helmet or shield, and 1 is a set of armor. For Ambite, I was using this table down here, but for now what I do for Ambite is I just roll a d12. And a d12 is the number of stones. And each stone is worth 10 experience points, or 10 gold pieces, however you want to do it. Because certain characters can change Ambite into gold. Now, on Ambien, gold is not a currency. Gold is basically considered a precious metal because they use it for decorative items, or even weapons. They can make a gold sword or gold daggers, but they'll use it for decorative items. They'll use it to decorate their armor, mostly the Arafu. Other creatures like the Dakru, which are kind of like orcs, they would use it for basic decoration, or even just make a trinket necklace out of it. So again, not really currency, but more for it being a precious metal to because it's a soft metal, you can manipulate it. So part of the experience on Ambien is that if those creatures capture you, they'll either enslave you to try to go find Ambite and turn it to gold, or they'll steal your Ambite and kill you. So these 3 are from what I called the Citadel. So over time, humans that are brought to Ambien, if they survive, they can develop communities and they can build villages, even cities. So these ones are from a smaller quote-unquote city, more like a village, that's called a Citadel. And they've over time developed a hierarchy where they have a little bit of a government or a ruling class, and they have soldiers and that sort of thing to help protect them against the locals on Ambien. Okay, so that's just a little bit of background. So the 3 are here. They've come to this resort area to investigate, and they are going to try to find out what the heck is going on, why people are coming here to vacation and not coming home. So we're going to zoom in on this one, and we're going to get rolling. So they've come to this area here. Now this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhide the fog of war so that you guys can see the actual building and what it's made up of. But we'll play as though we can't see it because, that's kind of how the game rolls. And we want to play it that way. We want to be fair. So, Tanir being the highly decorated person in this group, is going to take point. So they will take point and work their way up to the doorway of this boathouse. Others following in line, and like so, they didn't meet any major encounter. When they landed on the dock, Tanier notices that the door is wide open of this boathouse, this dock house, and they relay that to the other two. Rind, Kandar, something is very strange going on here. I don't hear any activity. Usually there's a couple people, a couple that look after this boathouse and set up, help people get set up here for their vacation time, and I don't hear anybody, and the door is wide open. Rind, I think we really should proceed with caution. Kendar, I agree, but we're here to do a job. We're here to, as part of our duty, to find out. That's part of it as to why. So I'm ready in case anything happens. All right. So Tanier says, okay, let's go in and we'll investigate and see what's going on. So Tanier enters the room first, followed by Rind. Kandar is just in the doorway, taking up the rear. Do they encounter anything? Well, let's find out. Most of this is going to be random table stuff. Okay, I have some of it has predetermined encounters in here as far as monsters or that sort of thing, but most of it will be random tables. So let's see if they encounter anything. A 3, so no. 1 or a 6, yes, but they got a 3, so nothing encountered at this point. All right, so Tanier is going to have a look around and investigate and see if they can figure out, because this is kind of like the office area, the reception area. Try to figure out what's going on and see what might be happening here. Now, what we can do is, especially when you're running a game as a game host, you want to maybe give a little ambience to each room. So when we're here, we're in the dungeon dressings area. So here's room descriptions and smell. So you could roll percentile and then you can describe to your players. So the room has a dank, moldy smell to it. The air quality is clear, but it really kind of like a basement smell. As you look around the room, you see some broken arrows, you see a busted bottle, you see there's dried blood everywhere, there's a broken dagger, kind of giving you the impression, okay, or you kind of perceiving that possibly there was combat here. There was a battle here a short time ago. So that's kind of how I would do it when I go through my games and we're going through these rooms as they approach the door. Obviously I try to, especially if they're new players, just kind of hint to them. Some of the things you want to do is you don't just want to swing a door open. You want to see if it's locked. You want to test it to see if maybe there's a trap. And when you say that to them, that's a hint that maybe they should be checking all the time, because traps can be sprung, or traps can be perceived and sensed. You can maybe give them a little heads up that there looks like something's fishy. So if, for instance, if they describe, I'm old school, so I like them to describe in detail how they are investigating something. So if they're at a doorway and they're going to check out the door to see if it's trapped, and I would say to them, okay, so tell me specifically what part of the door you're checking and how you're checking it. So they would describe to me, okay, well, I'm going to run my hand along the top edge of the door with my fingers just gently to see if anything is jammed in there or anything feels a little bit loose, and kind of take a closer look. So when they do that, you can tell them flat out, okay, either no, you don't really notice anything different about that part of the door, but as you're running your fingers around the corner of the door and you head down the edge towards the door handle, you notice that it looks like some of the wood has been replaced, and it looks like there's a piece of string attached to something. So that kind of gives them a hint that, ooh, this door might be trapped. There might be a booby trap going on. So that's the kind of things that I like. I really like descriptive detail when I play because I'm old school. I'm not into the kind of like the newer versions where it's just, okay, roll a die, and what do you perceive? Okay, well, you got a natural 20. you're under perception, so you figured out that yes, the door is trapped. Okay, well, that's fine. But then all you're doing is looking at your character sheet. You're not using your imagination. So, yeah, okay. So back to here, and now Tanier wants to check out this table over here and see if there's anything on it. So Tanier is going to scan the table and see if there's anything laying on the table. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to here, and we're going to go down to gear, and we're going to roll on this random gear, weapons, and armor table. Okay, so we're going to roll a d6, go like so. Boing, we got a 5, so that's table 5. Actually, let's do that again. We'll roll a d6 and a d20 at the same time, because that's the table number and that's the item number. So we got table number 3, item number 7. Now, table number 3, you get to roll twice. So they find a tinderbox. Okay, so let's roll it again, and we just ignore the d6, and a 17. So they found a tinderbox and 3 empty sacks. So now we decide whether or not they decide they want to keep that. So Tanier thinks, a tinderbox, and I have that in my basic backpack, and I do have 3 sacks, but 3 empty sacks, it's always good to have more. So let's go to Tanier's character sheet here, and we'll add, see, we already got 3 large sacks, so we're going to add 3 more. So we'll 3 large sacks. Empty. There we go. All right, so Tanier was successful and found something there. So Rind is going to come over and check around this chair and see if they can find something there. So we roll a d6. Do they find something? Nope. Didn't find anything of value. Kandar says he's just going to have a look around this side of the room over in this corner here and check out and see if they can find something there. So we'll roll again. And nothing major there either. So Tanier right now is the only one that was successful. So Tanier decides, okay, let's move on, guys. Let's continue on and see if we can figure out what has happened to the caretakers of this dock or slash boathouse. So Kandar moves back because he's going to take up the rear. Tanier is going to head forward, and Rind is going to follow behind. Now, as you can see, Tanier got up to the door, and their torchlight is not. Now, I'm using torchlight on here because I want to have the doors, have everything kind of hidden. So I just assume that when they walk in, they light up a torch. So we can go to our tracker, and we go under torches. This is 4. Pretty much everything is done with torches on Owlbear for us because that's the best way to hide, is using the fog of war, best way to hide the rooms. So in order for them to see the rooms. Now, having said that, kind of like Shadow Dark, torches are game time. So if we play a 2-hour session, your torch is lasting 2 hours. But sometimes you can change that up. You can change it to a 1-hour torch. So if you have a 2 or 3 or 4 hour session, every hour their torch will go out and they have to light a new one, very similar to Shadow Dark. So then all of a sudden they could be in the dark. And then no matter what they roll, if creatures show up and they sense that they're there, they hear them or they smell them, creatures automatically get advantage because creatures on Ambient can see in the dark. They have night vision. Humans do not. Okay? So they get advantage. They get to attack. If nobody has a torch, monsters get the first attack, no matter what. When you attack, you're kind of swinging blind unless you can see shadows. So you attack with a disadvantage. So no matter what you roll, you -1. So I haven't added that to the guide, but I think I should, because that's only fair. All right. Let's get back to here. So Tanier realizes, okay, this door is locked. So I'm going to check it out and see if there's something fishy going on with the door. So they have a look around the door. They try the handle slowly, and it just seems like it's just locked. They don't have keys, so Tanier's just going to roll on their strength just to see if they can push the door open without busting it. So we roll a d20. Got a 19. Now, at level 3, you only need 11, so I don't even have to check Tanir's sheet. But let's say they got like a 4, then I would go to their strength and add their strength modifier. So it would have been 8, it would have been a fail. But this time, it is successful, so what we'll do is we'll unlock the door like that. Now, it doesn't look like I have... no, I don't. So, hang on 1 second here. Let's go here and unlock that as well. There we go. Okay, had to put door on both sides because I've got the fog of war in separate sections here. Okay. All right, a learning curve. Every time I use Albert, I learn something new, or I have to remember, oh yeah, I got to do this, got to do that. Okay, so Tanir gets the door open successfully, and they walk through into a hallway, followed by Rind, and taking up the rear is Kandar. Into a hallway where the walls on either side, and as they come along. All right, so let's see if they have anything happening as far as an encounter is concerned. Nope, nothing. So far so good. So in the hallway, they're checking things out, and they can kind of tell that there's been things going on here. Tanir notices that there's kind of dried blood splattered everywhere, and there looks like there's weapons marks and basically hints of a scuffle or a battle, combat of some sort. Tanir's coming to the closer to the end of the hallway, where they can see there are 2 doors. Rind falling behind, Kandar taking up the rear. Tanir is asking Rind and Bola, which way do you think we should go? I feel we should go to the door to the south and check that room out first. That to me feels like it might be more part of the office, maybe their living quarters. Rind and Kandar, yeah, okay, sure, let's do that. So Tanir again comes up to the door and notices that it's locked, and we'll try to detect to see if they can unlock it or if they can just push it open. So they try the door handle. It is definitely locked by key. So it's not, they check out around the door, kind of look, and they don't see anything that looks like it's rigged. So they're going to try to see if they can push this one open without busting the door down and making too much noise. Well, another 19. So another successful attempt at opening a door quietly. And there we go. So that door is now unlocked. And Tanir just slowly enters the room. Rind takes up just behind them, and Kandar is watching the hallway as those 2 are entering. Let's see if there's anything in the room as far as an encounter. Nope. Well, this looks successful so far, not running into any critters. Tanir expresses to the other 2 that they don't think there's anything in here. They can't hear anything going on or anybody talking or smell any critters, so they're going to just wander into the room and check things out. So Rind does that as well. Kandar says he's going to stay at the doorway to kind of just watch the door while they're checking things out. Rind comes over to what he finds is looks like a table, and he's going to see if there's anything on that table. No, he doesn't find anything. Tanir's checking it out as well, see if they find something. No, so far unsuccessful. Going to check out here, this corner of the room. There's another doorway. Tanir says, "Oh, looks like a doorway to outside." Man, I think that's part of the deck that we saw when we landed. Rind agrees. Yeah, I think you're right. So Kandar says, "Well, I'm going to check over here, just kind of see if there's anything laying around on the ground." Nope, absolutely nothing. Nothing happening in these rooms at all. So Tanir says, "Okay, let's go try the other doorway." Kandar says, "Okay, I'll go out the door first, and I'll head over to that doorway and try the door." And Rind follows behind quickly to make sure that his back is covered and comes out into the hallway to guard the hallway. And Tanir comes out just outside this room's doorway. All right. So Kandar tries the door to see if it's locked, which it is. Again, he's doing the same thing as he watched Tanier when they were checking out the door. So he's checking out to see if it's kind of jury rigged, see if maybe there's a trap or the door's going to, pop open and crash or what have you. He doesn't find anything as well. So he's going to try to see if he can open this door without crashing through it. And he gets a 4. Let's look at Kandar's sheet here. And his strength is a 5, so that's only a 9. So that's a fail. Ah, crud. I can't quite get this door to open nicely. Tanier and Rin both say, well, we haven't really run into anybody, and we don't really hear anything at the moment, so let's just bash it in. So Kandar says, okay, I'll give it a shot. Natural 20. Boom, baby. So that door goes flying open. Crash. There it is there. And falls into the room. And Kandar decides, whoa, that just crunched right open, and walks into the room. Oh, no. And Rind is like, what's going on? What's going on? What's oh, no? There's a body in here. And he walks into the room and he notices someone lying on the floor. Rind comes following behind him, very curious and concerned as well. Oh man, that doesn't look good. Tanier comes into the doorway. What's going on, guys? We found a body. Looks like a male. It's only half dressed, but he's very scarred and there's lots of blood. It looks actually quite fresh. Oh geez. Okay, well you two investigate the room. Looks like there's a bed over there. See what's going on. See if you can find any hint or any kind of telltale signs as to what may or may not have happened here. And while you're doing that, I'll have a look at the body and see if it's one of the caretakers. So Rind and Kandar come over to the bed area, and they're going to search different areas of the bed, while Tanier comes over and checks out, investigates the body. Okay, starting with Rind. Let's go and see if he finds anything. Nothing special. And Kandar. Nope, nothing special. Tanier's checking out the body, and they turn to the guys and they say, yeah, I believe this is one of the caretakers. His body is very highly scarred. It looks like claw marks, possibly weapons, but they're pretty jagged and kind of gross looking. So I believe he was attacked by a beast of some sort. Rind and Kandar both express their kind of like a condolence, or their distrust of wanting to be here now. Who knows what we're going to run into? If that's what's going on, something must have shown up, and they maybe have a wild beast on the loose here, killing everybody, or even a few. I know near the Citadel, we don't go outside the village much because of the Dakru, and they're wandering out in the grasslands and in the low-lying forests all the time, and they're just brutal. They don't like to talk. All they like to do is fight, and they want to kill and eat us. Kandar, yeah, I agree, but it's a part of being on this strange place. I still wish I was back home in Hawaii where I grew up. Rind agrees. Yeah, I came from Greece, and in Greece I was a scholar and a warrior. And Tanier's, well, I came from northern Mongolia, and back then I am the same as I am now. I was leader of an army force. I didn't, not for any of the Khans. We were just a separate village, and a separate clan. We didn't follow Genghis or Kublai at all. And the other guys, oh, that's pretty cool. So, as you can see, just as a side note, that characters on Ambien are pulled here through the veil from any time in Earth's history. So, depending on the game hosts, you can, when you decide, your players decide where they're from and what their history was, like say they were a mechanic in the 80s, or they were a race car driver in the 60s, or like Rind, he was a Greek scholar and a warrior. So you can bring those skills with you if you want and give them additional skills. But I like to kind of start them all on equal playing field. Nobody has any special skills. They're here. They have to learn how to survive. Okay, so Tanir says, "Did you guys find anything?" No. Rind and Kendar both say no. Nothing this time. But I'm going to go around and check the other side of the bed, this end, and Kendar says, "Yeah, I'll go do that as well. Check that side of the bed." And Tanir's looking at the body. There's not much for clothing, but they're going to have a look and see if they can find something that identifies them, like maybe a medallion or a brooch or something to that effect. Oh, so not only did they find something, but they found a stone. So now let's see how many. Only one. Okay, so let's go to the stones. And let's see which stone it is. Let me roll a d6 again. A 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This one isn't highlighted in bold, but that's what it is. So the Stone of Wonder. So they find a dark purple stone. Now this stone gives the holder a random magic ability. So you roll on your intelligence, add modifier, add it to your d20 roll to be able to use the stone. And then you have to roll on this list, a d6 list, as to what happens. Now, if you roll a 6, it sends your PC, your character, back through the veil, back home. So they're gone. They're successfully off of Ambien. So finding this Stone of Wonder and getting that d6, it's quite the shot in the dark. So needless to say, let's go to Tanir's sheet. And actually, we can do that on the tracker. So right here, where is Tanir? Right there, Spellstones. So what they found is the purple Stone of Wonder. So if I fill this list, I come up here, I have to kind of go space over. It's the only way I could fill this in properly and make it work, but needless to say. So the purple Stone of Wonder is what they found. Pretty cool. All right, so Tanir brings that over to show their comrades. I found this glowing purple stone on the body. It was underneath his hand. It makes me feel weird. I get a sense of that it's trying to communicate with me. Kandar says, "Be careful. You don't want it to possess you. Maybe it's cursed." Tanir's like, "Well, I don't get that sensation, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to do anything about it just yet." So they put it in their backpack, and Rind and Kandar both agree. So Rind is going to do another search, and Rind finds stones as well. So which one? Oh, same thing. Rind finds another purple one. That's amazing. It doesn't happen that often. So we'll go up to Rind, and we'll go here as well. Purple Stone of Wonder. That's insane. Okay, that's awesome. Let's go back now, and Kandar's going to search. And it doesn't find anything. Well, he's just not lucky. All right. Tanir says, "Well, I think there was one more room that we needed to check when we first came in. So let's go check that room out and see if we can find this guy's partner, because I believe it was a couple that was running this place." So Tanir is going to head out the doorway, stop at the door, wait for the other two to join, and then head into the hallway. And heading into the hallway, of course, now they're changing location, so we have to roll and see if they run into an encounter. Nothing. So doing quite well so far. Now here, because it's a straight line, if you had like a dungeon, you had a long corridor to go through, you could always do this. And then you can move them all at once. Dun, 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 dun. All right, heading back into the main foyer, or the main reception area. And of course, again, this is back into another area. So as we do that, let's roll. And still no encounter. All right, so they are back into the main reception area. And Tanir goes over. Yep, here's the door. So I'm going to go try this door. Looks like it's locked. I'm going to try and see if I can roll on, or I can try to get this door unlocked or pushed open without damaging it. And they got a 6. So let's look at Tanir's strength. 4 to 10. So they were not successful. Tanir says, "Wow, I couldn't gently push it open. Rin, do you want to give it a shot and see if you can do it?" Rin says, I'm just going to bash it open. We haven't run into anything major yet. I'm going to see if I can slam it open. 6, and Rind has a 4 strength. So again, fail. It's like, wow, that door's pretty solid, or maybe it's barricaded from the inside. Kandar, why don't you give it a shot? Kandar comes over and he's going to take a whack at it as well. 4, another fail, because Kandar's strength is a 5. That's only 9. I'm not sure what's going on, but I can't get into it either. So Tanir says, okay, let's see what I got on me that we can try to get the door open. So, I mean, I got door spikes, but I don't know. Maybe we can hammer some door spikes along the edge and try to pry it. So Tanir comes over to the door. They take half a dozen of their spikes and they put it along the top corner edge and down the side near the door handle and around the door handle. Okay, so I've hammered those in. It's created a little bit of space. I'm going to try and pop this door open again. Boom, 15. Cracks the door open. That worked. Nice. So Tanir cranks the door open and goes to walk in the door. Barely gets in the doorway. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh, what's wrong? What's going on? Rind and Kandar come rushing over, and they notice a body just inside the doorway in extremely rough shape. There is the other half of this couple. There is his partner lying dead on the floor, and it looks like she's in even way worse shape than the first guy was. The first body was. She's got her one arm is all busted and chewed off. Lots of scars and lots of blood. Let's investigate the room, see what's going on, guys. So they go to walk in the room. Tanir goes to the east, Rin to the west. Kandar follows up into the doorway. And is there anything in here? No. Boy, lucky so far. Okay, guys, I don't really see anything or smell or hear anything, but it looks like this was a storage room of some sort. There's piles of stuff everywhere, rubble, and it looks like it was ransacked pretty heavily. So I'm going to check over in this corner and see if I can find any clues. I'm going to go over up to this northwest corner here. Kandar, I'm going to go straight north around the body, not right over top of the body, and check it out near the window. All right, so Tanir rolling. Ooh, Tanir found some gear. Okay, so let's go down to dungeon dressings, and we're going to roll on the random gear. So we need a D6 and a D20. D6, D20, bing. So table 2, which is helmets, and 8. So helmets or shields. I'm pretty sure that's a helmet. Let's have a look. It is a helmet. And Tanir is not wearing a helmet. So they pick up a helmet, dust it off. Oh, it looks like it's in good shape. Couple of little dings in it. I think I'll keep it. I think I'll wear it. So now we're going to go to the tracker. And under Tanir's helmet, we're going to take this off. And we're going to go +1, which boosts their armor class up to 12. And we'll make that adjustment on their character sheet. 12 as well. Nice. Extremely good armor class. And Kandar. Not finding anything. Rind. Not finding anything. Okay, Rind says I'm going to come down to the north or the southwest. Kandar's going to check out northeast. And Tanir is going to come over and check out the lady's body to see if she can find any identification or possibly something else that was left behind by whatever attacked her. Okay, so Rind. Nothing? Oh, Kandar found something on the stones list. Okay, what did he find? 5. Ooh, something different. Okay, let's check it out. 5, a possession stone. Dun, dun, dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is a glowing white stone. Gives the PC the ability to possess another being for up to 2 rounds. That's a party member or monster or whatever. This will allow the PC to command that being to do their bidding for those 2 rounds. The game host can determine the viability of what the PC wants to do, of course. If it is another player character being possessed, roll on their constitution to save against it. So if now all of a sudden if you have player versus player, and if it's not consensual, then the player that's trying to be possessed can roll on their constitution, and they just roll their DC. So at level 3, they roll 11 or better, and if they get 11 or better, that possession doesn't happen. But if it's consensual, if like say they want to try to possess them to manipulate them to get them away from something or out of a pit or what have you, then you don't have to do that. You can just go ahead and let it roll. There's a 1 in 6 chance that when this stone is used, it will possess the entire party. And if so, that they will automatically get sent through the veil to Darmandu. And Darmandu on Ambien is the forbidden zone. A party can roll on their constitution to try to save against it, but if they fail, they will become a resident permanently in Darmandu. They won't be able to leave. So they have to learn to live and survive in Darmandu. And Darmandu is the worst of the worst area, filled with creatures, and that is where the major big bad of my whole setting, the one that draws them, brings them to Ambien, that is where it resides. What it is, who knows? All right, so we have a glowing white possession stone. So Kandar, let's put it on here. Stone of Possession. I don't think I spelled that right. Let's go look here. Oops. Oh, 4 S's. My spelling's not so great. All right, Stone of Possession. All right, that's beauty. Now, the other thing too, when you're giving out experience points, I give out experience points at the end of every session. I am more than happy to let people level up at the end of every session because it's a very simplified system. So when they find possession stones, in the guide, I put 25 experience points. You as the game host can give them as many as you want. It can be 5, 10, whatever. Anytime they find a stone, they get experience points. Anytime they use it successfully, you can give them experience points. Again, that's up to you as the game host, successful combat, defeating monsters, all that kind of stuff. All right. Kandar like, oh, hey, I found a cool stone. Mine's glowing white. I get that real tingly sensation like you were talking about, Tanir. But I'm nervous. I'm just going to put it in my pack and leave it there. Tanir agrees that, yeah, that's probably a good idea. We don't know what's going on yet. And they're searching the body, and they don't find anything on the body either. Well, guys, I think we're done here. I think we are done in trying to figure out what's going on here. Tanir is saying that, I believe that it looks like either they were attacked by possibly maybe the Dakru came here and invaded this area, or maybe there's another group of creatures on this wacko place that has taken over or invaded, or maybe there's just 1 or 2 creatures running rampant, or maybe there's a group of humans that are just turned against everybody. There's so many things it could be. Rin says, well, it's our job to investigate, but we didn't find too much here. What say we head out behind the building? I know behind the path leading up to the vacation village is behind us, so why don't we head that way? Tanir agrees. So Rin says, okay, I'll take point. He heads out the door, back into the room. Tanir's right behind him, coming out into the room, and Kandar is following as well. Now again, they're changing location, so let's roll. Nothing. So they've been lucky that way so far. Rin is going to head out onto the deck outside, and so is Tanir behind him, and Kandar as well. I'll move this up a little bit. Rin says, I'm pretty sure it's this way. I'm pretty sure we follow the deck this way from what I was told before we left, a description of the place. So they all head down down the deck. I'm going to head around the back of the deck and head out. So let's roll again. So nothing. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see the path from here up to the west there. So Tanir and Rin. I'm just going to make them a little closer because I'm going to move them all at once. And Kandar. Not quite that close, otherwise it looks like he's being stabbed. Okay, circle. All right, guys. Let's head down, and we'll head over into and check out the rest of the area. Now, the weather here is really gloomy. There's a pretty heavy cloud cover, so I'm going to leave torches on. Okay, so again, it's up to you. You can, as you go along, you can open a space in here. So you can go up to here, you can go to here, and you can just do this. And that's the area that they can see for now. And then you can move them. Now, when they go to try to leave this area, they get stuck, so you have to add a door. So it's up to you. Either that, or you can just leave them under torchlight. Now that they're outside, we can delete this, and their torch lights will be big, wider radius. So you can do that as well. We can just bump that up to 30 feet. Oops. Just like that. And that gives them a wider radius of what they're seeing, so that even though technically it's torchlight that you're using, this gives you a little more kind of like a daylight setting, or setting, yeah, a daylight setting. So now together they've got, you know, let's see, what's that? We got 10, 20, 30. So outside this is 10 by 10. Inside I yield 5 by 5. So here they've got at least a 30-foot radius, and each time somebody moves, you know, they can go side by side, and they can create an even larger view radius, that sort of thing. So anyways, so now they're outside. They've come out into the forest area. They're going to follow up the path. They've been given a very tiny little map, that kind of just a basic outline, telling them about this building here and about the path to the to where they have the boarding buildings for people to stay, and it just tells them which direction to go. All right, so changed location. They're a different area, and we have an encounter. All right, so now we can go here, and we can go to, let's go to the bestiary. We're going to roll on our bestiary inhabitants down here. Now, at the beginning of these adventures, going solo, or when you play a regular game session with players, depending on how you like to do things, you can either do your encounters random, do random monster encounters everywhere, or you can have a set theme, and no matter where they go, if they run into an encounter, it's the monster in it that you have determined ahead of time. And it could be different monsters, or it could be just like, you know, you come into a village setting and it's been invaded by like this wonderful werewolf beast. This is the Okaru. Say it's been invaded by them, so every time they run into an encounter, it'll be one of them. So your decision. I like to go random because I like to just, you know, it's kind of like a shot in the dark as to what's going on. So now we need to roll a d4 and a d12 and see what's going on and what we run into, d4 and a d12. So we got table number 2 and the 11th one, the 11th choice. So we got Sakru. Now the Sakru, these guys are kind of like Sasquatch. Okay, they live in the bush. They're not necessarily aggressive. We can go up on the bestiary and go check out their stats if we want. So let's go up here. There's the Okaru, and here we go, Sakru. Okay, so very large bipedal beasts, about 9 to 10 feet tall. Some details: piercing yellow eyes, excellent sense of smell and hearing, very good trackers, very sharp teeth and clawed hands and feet, covered in thick fur, ranging from, you know, light brown, black to white if they're up in the north. I have a cultural structure here. They usually group in family pods. They're very secluded. They rarely leave their domain, and they're very difficult to find in the forest. Um, they don't have any special magic abilities, but they can smell other creatures approaching for up to 10 miles away. That's an incredibly good sense of smell. Very thick fur can withstand a lot of club-style weapons, to a point. Very strong, able to lift up 5 times that of a human. So they grab you, they could probably rip you in half. And they can commune with nature to the point of being able to know when seasons are changing. So they're very in tune with the nature around them. They don't have any armor per se, other than their thick fur. Their weapons are their hands, their feet, their teeth. But they can use weapons. They can use like a club, or they can pick up a sword and wield it if they don't. They're not exactly trained, but they can swing it around. And then if you want to go by stats, here you can go stat versus stat. Here's their armor class. Here's their strength, dex, and constitution. +5 to their armor. So their armor class is 6 + 5, so that's 11. And here's your damage for the hands, the bite, and the wooden club. So, all right, so they're going to run into a suckru. So we need to know how many. So I roll a d4. And there's 4 of them. Okay, so let's go here, and we'll go to our locals. And where is our suckru? Right here. Here we go. So now we're kind of in a forest, so there's 4 of them. So I'm going to do 1. There he is up there, okay. 2, 3. Oof. Come he showed up big and the other ones didn't. And we'll do another one of these guys. 4. All right. So now let's scale these guys properly. Now they are bigger than our human folk here. Quite that big. And this guy. All right. So as they're coming out, they notice that there's a large group of beasts. Not a large group, but there's a group of beasts just on the tree line, just at the edge of their sight. And let's roll to see how they react. So these guys would be, let's see, are they going to be surprised? 1 to 3 is yes, 4 to 6 is no. Yes, so the suckru gets surprised by our party coming out from the building. So technically the party gets advantage. Tanir's looking forward and saying, oh my, what are those things? Look at the size of them. Like they got to be at least 8 or 9 feet tall. They look massive and dangerous. Okay, let's see how they've reacted. 4. So let's go here. We'll go to gameplay. And let's see if we can get, where's our reaction here? We rolled a 4. Ooh, aggressive. Okay. Rind notices right away. They don't seem very happy with us showing up. They are looking pretty aggressive. They're kind of snarly. We're outnumbered. What do you figure we should do? Kandar says, let's just take up position. Defend ourselves. Tanir's, I'm a little leery. Maybe we shouldn't quite go that far. Why don't we see if we can communicate with them? See if we can maybe try to calm them down. I'm going to put my weapon away. Let's put our weapons away. So they all sheathe their swords. Does that change? Nope, they're still aggressive. Okay, that hasn't changed their attitude. Okay, I'm going to just approach slowly, and I'm going to see if I can convince them that we are not here to fight, because we're outnumbered. We fight these things, they're huge. We could get torn apart. Rind is like, well, what if these are the creatures that did all that damage? What if these are the ones that did it? Kandar says, well, I guess we'll find out soon, won't we? So Kandar takes up position on either side of Tanir. Rind is on the other side, and Tanir takes a couple steps very slowly forward with their hands down. The shield is on their back, the sword is sheathed, and their hands are down, looking very passive. Let's see if that's changed their disposition. 1. Okay, let's have a look. Nope, hasn't changed anything, so they didn't react to that. Tanir's like, well, that didn't really seem to do anything. They're not changing their position. They're still aggressive looking. Just at that moment, the taller one of the group steps forward and is making some gestures, kind of scruffily, got his claws out like this, like you can see, holding the claws upwards and clenching and opening its claws and lifting its head in a lifting, like a jerking notion. You know, like how you pass by somebody who go to say hello, you just kind of nod your head. And Tanir's like, I don't know what that means. Let's see how they react. Tanir, I think that. So Tanir, Rind, and Kandar now are feeling slightly threatened, and they're feeling aggressive. I'm not sure if this is going to turn out too well, says Kandar. We might just have to take the initiative and take them on. Rind is like, well, because we're outnumbered, I'm going to keep position here, and I'm going to take out my bow. So he takes out his bow because he knows that he can try to maybe take one or two of them out from a distance if they have to fight. Tanir's like, okay, well, let's protect ourselves. So they grab their shield and pull out their sword. Kandar has his sword and shield out already, and he takes up position on the other side. Let's see how the Sakru react. 2. So the Sakru are kind of startled. So he takes a couple steps backwards to see that they've taken up position to look aggressive. Will they fight? Will this be a bloody combat? Or will the Sakru change their mind? Maybe change their attitude and calm down and head back into the forest? We'll find out next time, gang. I appreciate your time. Hopefully this isn't too boring for you. But I had a lot of fun. And I'm going to try to do this once a week. And we'll keep you up to date on the adventures of Tanir, Rind, and Kandar. And we'll see next time if they survive this encounter with the Sakru, and go from there. Will this be a bloody combat, or will this just be the keepers of the forest letting them pass? We will see. Thanks for joining, gang. Please like and subscribe. Maybe post a comment. Keep it nice. My mother always said, you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. All right, this is Tim, your game host for Swords and Stones, signing off for today. Have a great day, gang. Take care.